In the humid dawn of June 12, 1993, Nigerians queued for what many believed would be a final, peaceful end to decades of interrupted rule. The man they chose, Moshood MKO Abiola, carried not just a vote but a rare fragile hope. The choice was taken away by an annulment that would scar Nigeria for generations to come. The memory of those days, of jubilations cut short, and of lives paid for defiance, is where our story of election rigging begins. Rigging in Nigeria did not arrive whole. It evolved. In the early post-independence years, it was blunt. Ballots were snatched, results were boxed up and never seen. But by the 1980s, engineered outcomes took on layers: intimidation, the fright of the state, and finally, in 1983, a return to the barracks. The 1993 annulment was the fulcrum. It proved that manipulation could be national in scale and surgical in consequence. After 1999, civilian rule returned, and with it, a familiar marketplace: money, muscle, and the networks of patronage. But reformers tried to change the calculus. Under Chairman Attahiru Jega, the Independent National Electoral Commission introduced biometric registration and other anti-fraud tools, a technological answer to a political problem. These innovations were not magic, but they changed the playing field, and for a moment, the odds too. 2015 was a rare clarifying year. For the first time in modern memory, an incumbent lost at the polls. And what is more, he accepted defeat. That moment suggested systems could matter. Credible lists, card readers at polling units, and vigilant observers made a modicum difference. Yet, the victory of process did not erase old habits. It simply forced them to adapt. But why do politicians rig? Economics answers part of it. Campaigns in Nigeria are capital-intensive ventures. Winning is indeed really expensive. A senior public figure and comedian recently estimated eye-watering sums. He claims that a senatorial run can cost over ₦1 billion and that governorship bids can run into many billions, as much as 20 billion naira. And those claims has circulated widely and painfully in public debates. Now, when winning requires such huge sums, politics becomes a mechanism to recover investment. Contracts, appointment, influence, and the pressure to secure victory by any means grows rapidly. In short, money buys power, and power repays money. In the last decade, new fault lines have appeared. Digital systems, servers, result portals, and biometric devices promised transparency. But they also offered new targets. For example, the 2023 general election saw a high-profile failure of the result viewing portal and viral claims of server problems that fed suspicion and rumor. INEC and independent analysts produced postmortems, but the damage to public trust has already been done. At the same time, social media amplified every alleged leak and every whispered audio, making it harder to separate verified documents from the cinematic noise of allegation. The result? A public that is more connected and less certain. Between the numbers and the devices are people. Polling clerks who feel coerced, families who bury the sons who protested, market women who batter a single vote for daily bread, and activists who lose years in jail for insisting on an honest count. These are the collateral lives of manipulation, the private grief that never makes the electoral returns. This is the moral ledger that the nation keeps, and it is heavy. International observers, Nigerian civil society groups, and courts have documented the methods: substituted collation figures, vote buying at scale, and the use of state machinery to tip local results. Now, academic studies and investigative reporting show a certain pattern. Where institutions are weak and money is vast, malpractice thrives. Where registration and observations are robust, malpractice is harder to hide. These are not partisan claims. They are patterns traced across decades. So where does the country go from here? Technology alone is not salvation. What is needed is political will, legal courage, and a civic culture that treats elections as public rather than private property. Nigerians have shown repeatedly that they will stand in long lines under the sun and rain for the chance to be counted. If those lines are to mean anything, the ledger must finally match the faces that formed it. But for now, the ballot remains both petition and prayer, fragile, contested, but still stubbornly a place where a people keep whispering their belief that a single mark on a paper can change the course of a nation.